Hello students, good morning all of you. Once again, welcome back to the mobile computing online session. With the last video, we successfully completed unit number 3, that is a mobile network layer. And this video is specially made for the overview of unit number 3, so what we covered in the past videos. So unit number 3 is the mobile network layer. So there in the previous two units, so there in the unit number 1, there we covered the introduction part of mobile computing and some architectures of GSM, GPRS like that. And coming to the unit number 2, there we studied about the data link layer subpart, that is medium access control. So medium access control is the subpart of the data link layer. So after the physical layer, the second one is data link layer generally. So data link layer is the two parts. That is, first one is the logical link control and second one is the medium access control. So we covered about medium access control in the unit number 2. Some different medium accesses like FDMA, TDMA, CDMA and CDMA, SDMAs. And also we covered about a wireless LAN IEEE 802.11. So that all we covered there in the unit number 2. So that is related to data link layer. Now unit 3 is network layer. So here we call it as mobile network layer because is the subject, we call it as related to the entire mobile communication technology. So here in the mobile network layer, so what is the main responsibility of network layer? So generally the responsibility of the network layer has to be establish the path between the source and destination. So here in the mobile network layer also same, if sender wants to communicate with a receiver, if sender wants to communicate, source wants to communicate with destination. So one mobile node wants to communicating with another mobile node, or one user wants to communicating with another user. Here the network layer has to be establish the path between the one station to the another station. But here there is some difficult part for the network layer here in the mobile communication technology, because here the device are the movable one. So in some situation, if both stations are static bus, there is no problem. But here one station, that is a sender, maybe either movable one or standard one, but the receiver here, the mobile device, that is movable from one location to the another location. So it's a bit difficult task for the network layer to identify the address of the mobile node. So what happened there in the mobile network layer, and how a data packet is transmitted from one station to the another station, and how it identifies address of that particular mobile node that we studied here in the mobile network layer. So this is the syllabus: IP and mobile IP network layers, packet delivery and handover management, location management, registration, tunneling and encapsulation, route optimization, DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. So all these topics we covered in the past videos. Okay, what is the need for mobile IP? In general, the IP addresses are designed to work with stationary hosts because part of the address defines the network to which the host is attached. So, in mobile IP is mandatory for in this network layer communication channel. So, a host cannot change its IP address without terminating ongoing sessions and restarting them after it acquires a new address. So other link layer mobility solutions exist but are not sufficient enough for the global internet. So mobile IP is need for mobile communication technology. If one mobile has to be communicating with another, it required an specific IP address. So because mobility, so mobility here there is no change. It continues with same IP address, but coming to the nomadicity, it changes the one address to the another address. So address is changed there. So these are some design goals of mobile IP. So how we have to create mobile IP? So it consisting of transparency like that. So these are the design goals. And what are the requirements for mobile IP? Compatibility, transparency, scalability, and efficiency. So security. So these are the requirements of mobile IP: transparency, scalability and efficiency, security, So all these are the requirements of mobile IP. And finally, this is summarized as supporting end system mobility while maintaining the scalability, efficiency, and compatibility in all respects with existing applications and internet protocols. So these are the some terminal walls needed in this mobile network layer. So how a packet is transmitted from one mobile node to another mobile node. So one station to another station, how a data packet is transmitted. Before going to discuss about that, first we have to know about some terminal words related to this networking layer. Those are, first one is mobile node. Mobile node means receiver. Simply in our language, mobile node means receiver. Correspondent node means sender. Correspondent node means sender. And home network, foreign network, foreign agent, placing it for network. And care of address. Care of address means, for example, if the receiver moves from one location to another location, so right now where he is, that is the care of address for his mobile. So there is a permanent address for receiver, but care of address is whenever he changing different locations. For every location, he has some care of address. So if station 1 wants to transmit data to station 2, here station 1 called it as correspondent node and station 2 is called it as a mobile node. And station 1's range is called home network and station 2 range is called foreign network. So if mobile node is in same home network, there is no problem for the correspondent node to identify the mobile node to transmit the data packet. But mobile node is in the another network, that is a foreign network, then mobile node correspondent nodes want to communicating with home network want to communicating with foreign networks identifies the mobile node. So care of address, there are two type of care of address are there: foreign agent care of address, co-located care of address. So and home agent, these are the terminal words we have to know about before going to the IP packet delivery. So mobile node, correspondent node, home network, foreign agent, care of address, and home agent. Okay, correspondent node, home address, home agent, foreign agent, mobile node, and care of address where it is placed in the foreign agent. Okay, that we covered in the lecture number 1. So coming to the lecture number 2, it is specially made for IP packet delivery. How an IP packet is moving from one mobile station to the another mobile station. Here the mobile station 1 is maybe a movable or a static one, whatever it may be, but the mobile 2 is the movable one. So here the first station is called it as correspondent node, the receiver is called it as mobile node. So correspondent node wants to transmit a data packet to mobile node, IP packet. How an IP packet is transmitted from CN to MN, mobile node. Here in the correspondent node, first communicating with the home agent, because if mobile node is available in the home agent, so it connects with mobile node and transmit data packet to the mobile node. But if mobile node is not available in the home agent, then home agent communicating sends that IP packet to foreign agent. So correspondent node sends data packet to home agent. Home agent is placed at the home network. So correspondent node sends data packet to the home agent. Home agent is placed at the home network. So home agent, if mobile node is available in the home network, so home agent allocated that packet, sends that packet to the mobile node. If mobile node is not available in the home network, then this router home agent sends that packet to the foreign agent, sends that packet to the foreign agent. Now foreign agent sends that packet to the mobile node. In this foreign agent search for the mobile node and identifies the mobile node and sends that packet to the mobile node. In this way, data packet is IP packet is delivered from correspondent node to the first home agent, from home agent to the foreign agent to the mobile node. So there in home agent, so data packet is encapsulated in every steps and it will be decapsulated at the ending point. So encapsulated at the starting point, it is decapsulated at the ending point. In this 3-step representation for IP packet delivery to the mobile node, and from the mobile node directly from mobile node to the corresponding node, data packet is traveled via foreign agent to directly to the correspondent node. That is the IP packet delivery, which is very most important topic in the unit number 3. So correspondent node, home agent, foreign agent, mobile node. These four are the very important nodes here. From correspondent node to moving to the home agent. That means first it checks in the home network. So if mobile node is available or not. If mobile node is not available there, then automatically home agent sends that packet, type packet to the foreign agent. So foreign agent checks for the mobile network, mobile node, and identifies the mobile node and sends that packet to the mobile node. In this way, IP packet is delivered from correspondent node to the mobile node. So step 1, correspondent node to home agent to foreign agent to mobile node. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 steps. So from the mobile node to the correspondent node, there is directly only single step, because it knows the IP address of this. So it sends depending upon that IP address, it directly sends by using via foreign agent to the correspondent node. So to communicate with a remote host, a mobile host goes through 3 phases. To communicating with a remote host, a mobile host goes through 3 phases. Those are agent discovery, agent registration, and data transfer. So how we have identified the mobile node, that is agent discovery. Agent means here mobile node. How we have to identify the mobile node. So how we have to discover the mobile node. How we have to discover the agent. So agent discovery is done in 2 ways. One is agent advertisement, second one is agent solicitation. So here in the agent advertisement, first we send an advertisement message to the destination. Agent advertisement. We are sending an advertisement message. In this way, we can identify the agent. So if agent is not identified by using agent advertisement, then again immediately we are moving to the agent solicitation. So here, if no agent advertisement are not present, or the inter-arrive time is too high, and the mobile node has not received a care of address by other means, the mobile needs must send agent solicitations. Agent solicitation messages are transmitted. In this way, we can discover the agent. So after discover, that means after finding of agent, that means mobile node, what happened? So after finding of mobile node, after discovery of mobile node, so next registration has to be required. Agent registration. So how an agent registration is done? Again, it is done in the 2 ways, 2-way manner. That is, mobile node will communicating with foreign agent with communicating with home agent. So as is registration request from mobile node to foreign agent to home agent. So reply is from home agent to foreign agent, same foreign agent to mobile node. In this way, registration task is completed. After identification and after find out and after discovery of agent or mobile node, the next immediate step we have to immediate step done by the system is agent registration. So after the registration, then the third step, data transfer. So how a data is transferred? So that we covered in the lecture number 3. So a data is transferred by using a tunnel. So via tunnel, data is transferred from the sender to the receiver or source to the destination. Here in the source area, the data is encapsulated, and after reaching via the virtual pipe to the receiver, there the data is decapsulated. How the data is encapsulated? So this encapsulation is done in 3 steps. Those are IP in IP encapsulation, minimal encapsulation, and generic encapsulation. IP in IP encapsulation, minimal encapsulation, and generic encapsulation. Here in the IP in IP encapsulation, okay, one new IP header is adding to the old IP header. So these are 32-bit representation. So time to live and versions. So all these are that we discussed in the lecture number 3 about IP in IP. So coming to the minimal encapsulation, their repetitions are there in the IP in IP encapsulations. To avoid the repetitions of identical fields in IP in IP encapsulation, so minimal encapsulation is introduced. So here there is no repetition in the minimal encapsulation. And finally, generic routing encapsulation. Here in the generic routing encapsulation allows the encapsulations of packets of one protocol suite to the payload portion of packet of another protocol suite, as here shown in the figure. So these are the data transfer, how a data is transferred by using a tunnel, and their encapsulation techniques are done at the sender side. that we covered in the lecture number 3. Coming to the lecture number 4, there we discussed about optimization technique. Generally, what happened there in the optimization technique is, in general, if mobile node is moving from one location to the another location, automatically there a triangular problem is arrived. So what is a triangular problem? Correspondent node want to communicating with a mobile node. First, corresponding node communicating with home agent communicating with foreign agent. This is the common scenario. But whenever the correspondent node communicating with foreign home agent will communicating with foreign agent. So after some time, the mobile node moving from one location to the another location, it changes its care of address. Generally, the correspondent node communicating with old foreign agent. But the mobile node is not available in the old foreign agent. It creates a new foreign agent, that is FA new. So it changes the care of address from one location to the another location. But in common scenario, a correspondent node communicating with old FA. So now old FA identifies the address of new FA. How the old FA identifies the address of new FA is, so after creating the new FA, the mobile node sends its address to the old FA. So old FA knows about the new address of the mobile node. So after data packet receiving from the correspondent node to the old FA sends that packet to the new FA. It identifies the mobile node. In this way, packet is transmitted from correspondent node to mobile node. That is the triangular problem is arised. So for that purpose, to identify in this way, to identify the mobile node address, there 4 messages are required. That is binding request, binding update for a home agent. Home agent required 4 messages: binding request, binding update, binding acknowledgement, and binding warning. So here in the optimization, so is the corresponding node, home agent, and foreign agent. But this is the old foreign agent. That means whenever the correspondent node think mobile node is under the range of old FA, but mobile node not in the range of old FA, it moves to another new FA range. So but correspondent nodes communicating only with the old FA. Now old FA can identify the address of new FA, and new FA identifies the address of mobile node. In this way, the communication is establishing. For that purpose, an home agent requires binding request, binding update, binding warning, and binding acknowledgement messages. So this is the optimization. And reverse tunneling. Reverse tunneling means, so up to now we discussing about data packet from correspondent node to the mobile node. But reverse tunneling means data packet from mobile node to correspondent node. So how the data packet is, IP packet is transmitted from correspondent node to the mobile node. Data packet is transmitted from correspondent node to the mobile node via home agent and foreign agents. So there are multiple foreign agents are there, for new foreign agent and old foreign agent. But in reverse tunneling, generally in the first step we discussed about from the mobile node, data packet directly reaches from mobile node to correspondent node because it knows the IP address of correspondent node. So via home agent, data IP packet is delivered from mobile node to the correspondent node. But there some bit of problems are occurred, that is firewall problems are occurred. For that purpose, it has to follow in like this way: mobile node to home agent, foreign agent to home agent to the correspondent node. In this way, the reverse tunneling is done. And IPv6. So here we are using the protocol of IPv6 rather than the IPv4 because there is a bit comparisons between IPv6 and IPv4 that we covered in the video number 4. And finally, the dynamic host, because why I quit this topic is, I think you guys are good in about IPv6 and IPv4 in networks, so it's a bit boring for you. That's why I skipped this topic. And finally, dynamic host configuration protocol, DHCP. So it is the automatic configuration protocol used on IP network. For example, if a client wants to communicating with a server, so if your mobile want travel from one location to the another location, how it connects to the server, how it connecting to the network, how it connected to the towers. For that purpose, this is the important role played by the dynamic host configuration protocol. So what happened here in the dynamic host configuration protocol is, whenever client wants to communicating with a server, first it sends an discover message. So DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol, DHCP discover message from client to the server. server sends offer message to the client. Now client sends a request message. Now server sends acknowledgement message. In this way, a path is establishing, connection is set up between client and server. If he wants to continue the connection after some time, he sends another message to keep continue. Otherwise, he wants to leave from that particular server. He wants to send so it wants to send a release message to the server. So these are multiple servers. So client in the range of multiple servers, client want to communicating with any one of the server. First it sends DHCP discover message to both servers. So it get a DHCP offer message from both the servers, and again it sent DHCP request to the both the servers. But DHCP acknowledgement is came from server number 2, so it connects with server number 2, and communication is done between DHCP client and DHCP server 2. If DHCP client wants to continue with the DHCP server 2, it sends renewal DHCP request renewal message. Otherwise, it doesn't require to communicate with the DHCP server. It sends DHCP release request. So in this way, client communicating with server, client establishing a path between. There is a path establishing between client and server. If multiple client in the range of multiple servers, it sends and discover message, and it receives offer message, and again it sends request message, and which server sends first acknowledgement to the client. Client will communicating with that particular server. If client wants to continue, it sends a release renewal request. It doesn't want to continue, a DHCP release request is sent to the server. So that is dynamic host configuration protocol. So this is the overview of unit number 3. So unit number 3 is the mobile network layer. So here in the mobile network layer, we cover the topics how a IP packet is delivered from one place to the another place. That means one station to the another station. Here station 1 we call it as correspondent node, station 2 is the mobile node. How a path is established, how an address is identified, how mobile node is identified for that purpose, agent advertisement, agent solicitation, and agent discovery, and how data is traveled, that means which path it is using, like a tunnel, and how data is encapsulated, that is encapsulation techniques, that what we covered in the unit number 3 in the mobile network layer. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video.